Someone asked a question in one of my videos. Yes, as you know, I respect everybody and I like to communicate with people who watch my content one on one. I could definitely just respond to this comment, reply to it immediately with a comment. Um, but I thought it's important I do this video because I've heard people ask the same question, and also I know that many people may be asking this question without answer. The question was basically like, how can I find the good people in this world? How can I find? So I had to definitely paraphrase it. So how can we find the good people in this world? My answer is going to be very simple and straightforward. First, if you're asking yourself this question, it means you lack two things. One, clarity. Two, discernment. Yes. Nobody is perfect, of course, we all know that story or that phrase. Nobody is perfect, no marriage is perfect, no human being. Of course. But there are qualities, there are characteristics, there are fruits that define who we are. We have standards, we have priority orders. So for me, in general in life, once I see people generalizing anything, if for example I see somebody say all people are bad, there's no good one, because for you to come to this place you're looking for good people. I mean, maybe you've not find any, or maybe you've just had the bad people, you know. So the first thing is for you. The work is on you. Work is you, first of all, be a good person. When you're a good person, it will help you to identify the things that makes you a good person, the work you had to do, the things you had to put in, and the things you also had to let go. For example, when I talk about good person, what I talk about good person may not be the same as what you're defined as a good person. And what I was defined as a good person 10 years ago is not going to be the same as what I'm defined as a good person in 2025, based on what I have changed. I have grown mentally, mindset wise, a lot of information I didn't know I have now. So once you do that self work, you will take away a lot of doubt, you take away a lot of misconception, and you'll be able to be more wise. So firstly, I'm responding by saying that the answer to the question of how can I find the good people in this world, it could be how can I find a good wife, the good husband, the good friends, the good whatever you want to list. It goes to that place. But I know, yeah, it seems like there's no principle. No, there are principles. The question is, do you first of all have principles? Do you first of all have standards? Do you have boundaries? Because it's when you have a standard, there's no sin without laws. It's when we have standards, like this is who I stand. For example, I use myself again. The type of priorities I basically had, let me say I had the same priorities 20 years ago, but the way I understand my own priorities now have changed. The way I value my own priorities now have changed. Yes, I've always known that God is number one, but I wasn't really living like God number one. So it's easy for me to identify someone who is there. And yet I know, oh, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. In my secondary school, each time someone entered the class, we have to say this: welcome to our class. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. But was I really living in that, the fear of the Lord? No. To have the wisdom, no. So when I talk about discernment, we all human beings, we can fake to get whatever we want to get to get. We can fake things. We can fake resume, we can fake smiles, we can fake words, we can fake love, we can fake everything. So you need discernment to know who is speaking the truth, who is lying, who is the counterfeit, who is real. If you lack this discernment, it will be so difficult for you to really know who is who. So that's why in the beginning I said, if you're asking the question of how do I identify the people who are good, you lack two things: clarity and discernment. That is the reason. Because once you are clear about yourself, that's the important thing. Yourself, you set your standards. You know where you were and you know where you want to be. Once you're walking in that direction, people that are attracted will be people who are aligning with your new journey. Also, people that do not align with that new journey, you will see them leaving. So if you said that you want to be a good person and intentionally you're working towards that, you'll be very clever to identify that, oh, this person is not good. This is where I was 10 years ago, this is where I was 5 years ago. So let's look some things, like if I had to say good person, I would look somebody who's compassionate, somebody who's God-fearing, somebody who is kind, somebody who's wise. So let me just say compassionate, kind, God-fearing. Those are some of the things that I should see, and this person also should be purpose-driven, should be intentional. So if you see somebody who's compassionate and have all these things, you will know. So if you don't know who is compassionate, also who is what is compassionate, what do you define as being compassionate, what do you define as being kind? So that is why I talk about clarity and discernment. Once you are able to know what you are looking for, it'll be easy to identify. That's why we have classification. So as we live, you cannot put all human beings in one box. If you keep putting people are, men are, women are, Christians are, pastors are, business people are, it generalize everything. It simply means you are unable, or you don't have enough knowledge, information, discernment, understanding to be able to put things in their groups. Because yes, there are ladies, but there are going to always be groups in every one of us minds. If your intention, your purpose, you'll be able to know, yeah, this person is my friend, but though this person is my friend, this is where we can relate more. Maybe this is all, and this other person needs a level, so you have to relate it like that. There are people in my life that we mostly just talk about business. We don't have much. There are people that I talk business, I talk family, I talk spiritual life. There are people that they are family members, but we don't really talk much. There are people, so why don't we talk much? Because of alignment of purpose, alignment of standards. They may have their own standards, which is different from mine. Does it mean they are bad? I don't think so. So just think about what are your own priorities, what are your own goals. I hope this video blesses someone, because we live in a world that we tend to generalize things a lot and people fail to get the key things. You can be confused of maybe a mango tree because there's no fruit on it, right? Now, because you may not be sure about the leaves if it's a mango tree, but once there are fruit on that tree, it'd be easier to say, oh, I know the mango fruit. If you know the mango fruit and you don't know the tree, it'd be easier for you to identify. So that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes people are giving you words, but they don't produce fruits related to the words they say. That is why discernment become important. So these fruits sometimes are not physical. These fruits sometimes you may not have enough time to wait till these people start manifesting the true self or start producing the fruits that you can use and determine this. That's why for me I always say the things I used to count myself as being wise years ago is not the same, and I give all glory to God. Because once I've understood is the more you have God in your life, the more you have clarity. And a lot of times people are dodging from conversations like that put God first, because we are so used to doing things by our power. I am the one who did this, I. And of course, that's why we are not clear about a lot of things, even about our own selves. We are not clear about our purpose. So this is an encouragement and at the same time a call to say people are different out there. People are not the same. People are in different groups, but you want to be very intentional to do your own due diligence, to first of all empower yourself to be who you are searching for, to empower yourself to be able to also identify people beyond the physicals and basics of life, look at them from a deeper perspective, and God can help you in doing that. I hope you enjoyed this video and you have something to learn. Ciao. Much love.